This may or may not be a hot take, but I genuinely think that Syril Karn's arc, as portrayed in Andor Season 2, is perfectly executed. And Kyle Soller deserves all of the awards for successfully pulling it off. Spoiler warning, by the way, for the most recent 3 episodes of Season 2 of Andor. A ton of people have been predicting that throughout Season 2, Syril was going to end up siding with the rebels. He was going to realize all of the evil that pushing paper for the Empire was doing, and he was going to decide that his personal code of justice just didn't actually align with fascism, and he was going to defect. And we did not see that happen. At least not all of it. We saw him realize what exactly he had been party to. We saw him see and understand what the human cost was going to be of his own actions. And right as he was on the verge of doing something good and useful, it all came crumbling down because he saw Cassian, who he understood to have ruined his life. Never mind that, nobody made him go pursue Cassian in the first place. He made that choice all on his own, against orders. But he made that choice because of his strong personal code of ethics. Cassian broke the rules. Therefore, Syril had to do something about it. And we see that same strong code of justice show up again because Dedra broke the rules. Dedra lied to him. Dedra and the rest of the Imperials on Gorman did something that Syril's personal code of ethics did not vibe with. And when he was this close to doing something about it, never mind that there's not much that he could have actually done, the plaza had been closed down by that point, but still he's this close to being able to escape the framework that he's spent all of this time in. A framework that he has now realized is made of false dichotomies, and lies, and manipulation. And he throws it all away because he sees Cassian and he goes, you ruined my life. And Cassian turns around and goes, who are you? Because he has been involved in something that is so much greater. And he's been focused on Dedra as his primary antagonist, which, as he should be. But it hasn't even occurred to him that Syril Karn is still walking around doing anything. He doesn't even know who the hell Syril Karn is. Now, I do think that we have to take into account that Cassian and Syril are perfect foils to one another. Even back on Morlana 1, Cassian is careless. He breaks a rule. Syril is obsessed with the rules. That's what puts him on Cassian's tail to begin with. But going by the book blows up in Syril's face, whereas Cassian's carelessness, his lack of regard for the way that things are done, ends up being the thing that provides just enough chaos and cover for Cassian and Luthen to get out of Morlana 1 alive. The raid on Ferrix ends up taking Cassian away from his adoptive kidnapper mother, while it sends Syril back to his stifling, overbearing parent. Looking at parent figures, Syril's mother is Syril's mother. I don't like Marva, but she loves unconditionally in a way that Edie does not. Cassian spends months, years, running away from a rebellion that he doesn't really believe in because he doesn't want to be told what to do, even when what he's actually fighting for is to be able to do what he wants without anybody telling him what to do, and that's pointed out a number of times over the course of Season 2. Syril spends 2 seasons desperately trying to find a new place to fit into an empire that he passionately believes provides order and that order is good. They both want control to some extent in their relationships. But in Cassian's case, it's because he doesn't want to take risks. He doesn't want to risk anything or anyone that's become important to him. And Syril just desperately wants order and control, and the realization that the Empire isn't bringing that to Gorman, and is in fact doing the absolute opposite, is what makes him snap at Dedra. And when we talk about being abandoned in a relationship, Cassian is abandoned by Bix, yeah. And it's because she's doing what is right for a greater purpose. You can make a pretty strong argument that Dedra is doing what she sees as exactly the same thing. She's committing to doing something with the idea in mind that it'll force Syril to do the same, and then they get to go home and then they get to be together. And whether I consider it a satisfying story conclusion or not, I think it's really incredibly fitting that Cyril's story ends on a note of total insignificance. He's just one of the many names associated with Gorman. He didn't take any heroic action to save anybody else. And even the person who he risked it all to attack didn't even know who he was. And I can go on about how much I loved the deeply brutal, painful watch that was the Gorman Massacre. I got 2 history degrees. I've listened to the recordings of the final radio transcripts out of France directly pre-German occupation, and I held my breath the entire episode once I realized where that was going. As beautifully as that was done, I really do think that the storytelling highlight of the episode was how Syril's story ended.